Hi guys, this is Jun Xiang.
And this is Gavin. We're from M8 and today we will be sharing with you what you need to know about the property market for the month of May.
Firstly, according to data released by URA on May 15, developers sold 887 new private homes excluding ECs in April. This represents a jump of 80.3% month-on-month and 37% year-on-year. Now this figure also marks a fourth consecutive month of growth and the highest monthly sales since September 2022, when 987 new private homes were sold.
The highest sales comes off the back of two major launches in the RCR region that month. 638 unit Tembusu Grand and 275 unit Blossoms by the Park. Together, the two projects accounted for 559 units of the 63% of April sales.
According to a research report by Huttons Asia, the non-landed luxury real estate market also picked up momentum in the first quarter of 2023, when an estimated 84 non-landed luxury homes were sold. This is 15.1% higher than the previous quarter. Based on caveats, the total value of non-landed luxury homes sold was 740.6 million, which represents an 8.3% higher quarter-on-quarter.
The upswing in the performance of the non-landed luxury real estate market could be due to the return of affluent Chinese buyers following China's relaxation of border controls on Jan 8.
With the return of the super wealthy Chinese, Kim Kent Hill saw 20 units sold to foreigners in first quarter of 2023. Why buyers zoom in on this condo will likely be due to the availability of large format units. These units have since been sold out.
However, how the luxury market will perform still remains to be seen ever since ABSD for foreigners has increased from 30% to 60% on the 27th of April. Some of you would also have seen an article where it reported that the foreign buyers paid ABSD on their units at Yong'an Park and New Futura. HProp followed up with the article explaining that the Chinese buyer paid 30% instead of 60% ABSD as their options were issued prior to the ABSD increase and was exercised before May 17.
The Chinese buyer for the new Futura unit paid 12.5 million and an additional buyer's stamp duty of 30%, which is another 3.75 million. The other luxury condo property that was scooped up by a Chinese buyer is a 6-bedroom townhouse unit at Yong'an Park, which is a freehold development on River Valley Road. A caveat was lodged on May 5th for the sale of the 7,718 square feet property for 14.08 million. Similarly, the buyer paid an additional buyer's stamp duty of 30%, amounting to $4.2 million.
For the resale private market, we have a less favorable outlook. Demand for resale properties to remain moderate, but with a possibility of slight decline in transaction volume compared to the previous year. We feel that the resale prices are expected to continue growing, but at a more measured pace due to the tailwinds such as the high interest rates and the recent 15-month rate cooling measure.
Now for the HDB market, HDB has announced changes to its processes for assessing flat buyers' incomes and eligibility for housing subsidies effective from May 9th. The changes come in tandem with the introduction of a new HDB flat eligibility HFE letter to replace the existing HDB loan eligibility letter. The HFE letter will serve to inform flat buyers upfront about the eligibility for a new or resale flat purchase, as well as the amount of HDB housing loan and CPF housing grants that they can obtain.
Eligible housing grants will now be shared among applicants and occupiers in a core nucleus or household, regardless whether they are SG citizens or PRs. This means that in a core nucleus comprising of a SG citizen and a PR, each applicant will get half the amount of the grant. Before this, the full grant amount was disbursed only to flat applicant, a Singaporean citizen.
Lastly, the income assessment period for flat buyers has been increased to 12 months instead of the previous 3 or 6 months for a more consistent and clearer assessment of applicants' income levels. Finally, in the new launch market, for those of you wondering how Blossoms by the Park and the Continuum did during their launch phase, we have the numbers for you here.
EL Development sold over 200 units out of the 275 at its project Blossoms by the Park at Slim Barrack Rise by 6 PM on the April 29. This translates to a take-up rate of 73%. The average price of the units sold was 2,423 per square foot. Total number of checks collected by the developer was 745, which translates to a subscription rate of 2.75 times. The conversion rate was close to 26.8%, which can be attributed to the lack of units for investors instead of weak buyer sentiment.
On the other hand, over the weekend of May 6 to 7, joint developers Hoi Hart Realty and Sunway Properties sold 26.5% of their 816-unit freehold condominium, the Continuum. The average price of units sold at the project on Thiam Siew Avenue was $2,732 per square foot. Although the take-up rate seems a bit weak, it is important to note that in absolute numbers, the Continuum is actually a total of 216 units, hence the sales achieved was actually on par with the 206 units sold at Blossoms by the Park. The one glaring thing we noticed was that the one-bedroom units was barely sold. This could be attributed to the fact that most one-bedroom unit buyers are investors and they would generally prefer 99-year leasehold units instead, due to the lower quantum and the higher rental yield.
Meanwhile, the long-awaited The Reserve residences by Far East and Sino Group will be launching tomorrow with more than 1,400 checks received over the 2 weeks of preview. The developers will only be releasing 550 out of the total 732 units at the Jalan Anak Bukit site, which will be integrated with Transport Hub and directly linked to Beauty World MRT.
It's evident from the number of checks collected that this development will be hotly contested for. This is not surprising due to its many positive qualities such as being in close proximity to transport nodes, amenities and educational hubs such as Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary and Methodist Girls Primary. We'll keep you guys updated on the percentage of units sold next month. Now for those of you who missed out on the launches this year so far, don't worry because there are still plenty of launches coming out such as The Mist by CDL, Lentor Hill Residences by Hong Leong and Guoco Land, The Lake Garden Residences by Wing Tai, Pine Tree Hill by UOL and Singapore Land Group, and last but not least, Grand Diamond by Sing Hai Yi. If you'd like to know which is our number one project for investment this year, drop us a DM below and we'll be more than happy to share with you which one it is.
So that's it from us for the month of May. If you found this useful, do share with your family and friends or leave us a like and some positive comments. Thank you for staying tuned. This is M8 and we'll catch you in the next one.